I am Toymaker ZW, and today we will attempt to create a life-size Mummy Longlegs toy that is both stretchable and flexible, together with her very own toy box so that it looks like an actual toy we bought from Playtime Co. The toy in the game is supposed to be made of a special plastic that can stretch and pose, but that is not possible in real life, so we need to find alternatives for these features. For the stretchy part, Jovi Hobby had already made one that is really stretchable with this kind of rubber thingy, and that is exactly what we are going to do as well. However, I also want it to be posable, so I'm going to print her limbs with this frozen nylon resin that I use to make my squeaky Toy Story alien, because it is flexible, and of course we are also going to use flexible leather paints that we explored in that video, so that they will not crack when we flex the print. For the rest of the parts, we have printed them out with our trusty Mighty 8K and Aqua Vanilla resin. Because not only is this printer capable of printing all the parts at one go, it is also able to reproduce the fine details that is needed for this project, such as the really thin eyelashes. Once the prints are removed from the build plate, we have to clean them thoroughly by dipping them in alcohol because they're hollow, and we have to flush the uncured resin out as much as possible. I know resin printing seems really intimidating and dirty, but I assure you that once you get over that fear and get used to the process, you will be able to produce amazing art pieces. Like, look at the details replicated by this printer. You can see the lips marking that I made, and I am always impressed by how this tiny support could be printed out with no issues at all. Make sure to check the links in the description below if you are interested, as it will help our channel grow even bigger. Plus, you don't even need to worry about making your own models because there are so many models available online, and these models are actually from the game itself that I simply made printable by modifying a few things, such as marking out the details on the body, marking out her lips that we saw earlier, adjusting her thumb to make the palms open up, then thickening her eyelashes so that they don't break after printing. As for her eyes, I didn't want to use the realistic one that Monster Mummy has because we are making the toy version, so I decided to make a simple version with a few circles in Photoshop. Then I applied it to the model to mark out the circles for decal placements. Then it's just about separating them, adding keys so that we can print them individually for easier painting. Speaking of printing, our flexible print has failed. And I think it's because I made them hollow in the middle so that I could put a wire through, but they have unintentionally become suction cups that were probably causing it to fail. So I removed the holes in the middle and they printed out perfectly. And it's flexible, wow! Then I tried drilling a hole through the middle for the wires, but it started to crack when I bent it and I started to panic. So I don't think I'm going to do the wires anymore, and it will not be posable, unfortunately. Let's take a break and make the box. Poppy Playtime Chapter 3 actually gave us some updated boxes, like Banzo Bunny used to have an open concept box just like Sir Poops a Lot, but now it is upgraded to a closed version in Chapter 3. Mummy's box didn't change too much, they just added more details on the sides of the box and also added a blue background for the insides, which makes it look more complete and professional, so that is what we are going to print for this project. The UV map itself is quite messy, and compared to the Chapter 2 box, the new one seems really desaturated. So I'm increasing the saturation to give it a little bit more color and life. Luckily, the front portion of the box is already well made, and we just have to rearrange the blue portion accordingly to make it into a foldable box format. It's really quite easy, just flip the front and then we can start placing the blue ones over it like a puzzle, and it is done. However, how tall exactly is Toy Mummy? Poppy Playtime has never been specific with the sizes of their characters. I mean, we know Monster Huggy is 18 feet tall, but Monster Mummy is just tall. Previously, I made my Sir Poops a Lot box to be 25 cm tall, and from the game footage, it seems like Mummy's box is slightly taller than Poops a Lot, so I'm just gonna guesstimate it to be 35 cm tall, and yeah, I think it's good enough. I printed it out as a sticker at my local printing shop, and it looks pretty darn good. Just like Sir Poops a Lot, I'm going to use the same cardboard, paste the entire sticker over it slowly, pushing out air bubbles as we go, and it looks great. Then it's time to cut the sides off, and don't forget the middle. Do the same for the insides. For the edges with a metal ruler, glue the sides on, and that is all. Okay, since we want to make Mommy stretch and flex, I would like to make the limbs interchangeable by gluing magnets to her parts. We are pretty lucky because the rubber arm we bought is almost the same size as the one we printed, so it will fit perfectly. All we have to do is to glue and insert in magnets to all of the holes and do some sanding. It's funny because we have literally been doing flocking and fabric work for the past few videos, so we didn't really have to sand to perfection, but this time we are required to get the surface smooth and perfect. And that is why we have to start filling up these tiny potholes, the drain holes we made digitally. It's not the filling up that is tedious, it's that after filling up and curing the holes further in the Cure Mega S, we still have to sand them smooth again. This one really killed my spirit a little, so feel free to like and comment and click the links to help the channel out. The good thing is, I got to distress a little by bending these flexible prints, and it's really quite satisfying. The magnets work really well, and I don't see the prints cracking anywhere, so that is a very good sign. It looks like they can really withstand quite a lot of flex, and the magnets could also hold the weight well without falling off the body. And all that's left is to paint the parts up. I painted them with some white primer and sprayed the decals with some clear coat. Then for the flexible prints, I prepped them with some white leather paints so that the green base will not show through the paintings. The pink colors are actually quite hard to achieve, especially when we only have the wrong shade of pink leather paint. But after some trial and error, I am happy to confirm that we can actually mix regular acrylic paints with a leather paint as a base to get the color we want, and the paint will not crack. That is awesome because we can then mix the same acrylic paints to get the same shade of pink for the non-flexible prints to keep things consistent. As for the other parts like the hair, it is of a hotter pink with a tint of orange. And I masked the top of the body to paint the bottom half. Now that everything is pink, we will add some blue to the collar and the hairband, and I chose to hand brush them because we needed more control when painting the socks since part of the shoe is blocking it. Now I masked the eyes and we are ready for eye decals. It's been a while since our last decal session, and I thought I'm an expert already, but then our first attempt failed miserably. I think it's the fact that the eyes are too curved, so the decal couldn't lay flat on the surface, causing some overlaps that I have to try and fix with some paint. And this is the best we can do. We also have to fix the black border, and while we are here, we can complete the eyelashes, add some black to the mouth, and do some makeup for her to complete the look. Lastly, we are going to apply some gloss to her face and the rest of her body, glue the parts together like her face to her hair to her hair, then her head to the body. Assemble her arms together, her legs, and she is done. Finally, we have a flexible mommy long legs with her amazing box that makes it look like an actual toy. Her limbs do stretch really well as you can see, but because the color of the rubber is wrong, it makes her look really weird and it doesn't accept paint either, so I don't think I will be using the stretchy limbs anymore. As for her flexible limbs, they are not posable sadly, but the good thing is they do flex really well and the paints don't crack at all. I could technically pose them with some zip ties through the box, and because they are magnetic, I could take them out and put them back whenever I want. Thank you for watching this video, I hope you enjoyed it and I will see you next time.